people to shut up about the Judgment Day never defending their titles.
I loved it.
We get JD McDonough and Mr. Fergie Ferg. They successfully defend their titles against the New Day, which I didn't think was 100%. I honestly was already prepared for them to lose. Like I
wanted it so bad. I wanted New Day to win so bad.
I was going to be really disappointed about it because I just hate when it's like wrestlers are kind of punished for bad booking, because that's what I would say this is, like people complaining about the Judgment Day never defending the titles as if it has anything to do with them, you know, like it's not their choice at all.
No.
But I liked how this ended up, because you kind of thought once Odyssey Jones was fired that meant, okay, whatever the plans were for the New Day, that it wasn't going to happen. And they kind of were going about it that way, like in the weeks after they took Odyssey off TV and then eventually fired him. Everything seemed chummy between Xavier and Kofi. So you're like, okay, we're going to go in this direction again. Nope. It only took a little bit longer than we thought. And because of Kofi getting involved with the Judgment Day coming out, which then was preceded by LWO coming out to help the New Day, Kofi getting involved messed up the match for Woods, who had the pin on JD McDonough. My poor JD. Poor JD. Why is he always got to be the one? He's the Giovanni Vinci of Judgment Day. And this led to Xavier taking out his anger on Kofi, giving him a couple shoves and yelling at him, which then continued in the back. And Kofi admitted that they needed a little bit of muscle, because now that they don't have Big E in their corner, they need some extra help. Hit. Woods took that personally, because he was like, all right, we're not good enough. I'm not good enough. You don't even tell me about this plan, blah, blah, blah. So it's definitely setting it up for something to happen. But as somebody said in the chat earlier, the most interesting part about this whole thing, I would say, is it's not 100% clear who is turning heel, which I like, because at first with all the Odyssey Jones stuff, most people thought it was going to be Xavier. I made an argument that it could have been Kofi and Odyssey because you wouldn't be seeing it. But I still think that's a possibility. You could still see it being Kofi, because he's been doing this sneaky stuff and not telling Xavier, which that would be more frowned upon, right? Than like Xavier reacting to it. But then, of course, his reactions, people would say, are not justified and blah, blah, blah. So it's easy to paint him as the bad guy. But I think it's interesting that it's not obvious yet. It makes it a little bit more fun to look forward to, I feel.
I am leaning more on the Woods side of turning after the tantrum post-match, blowing up on the LWO. You know, it's part of the upgraded production where you go to Kathy Kelly, trying to get over with Kofi, and you overhear Xavier Woods screaming at the LWO for getting involved in the match, finding out there's no cutscene or whatever to find out, like, you transitioned well, them finding out that Kofi arranged the whole thing, like, and especially before all that happened, Woods went to Rhea, Damian, and Jey Uso. Jey Uso, and said, "Don't get involved." You know, like, I got on my own. Like, if you know their games better than anyone, just please, this is our business. And they're like, yeah, man, we got you. You know, we're not going to get involved in the match. Anything, whatever. That's what I like about the whole thing, is that Woods is thinking like a thing, like he's on his own at this point, like where Kofi is trying to still bring back the glory days of the three of them, maybe because he doesn't believe Woods can do it. I love it. It's the almost underrated little stories going on Raw.
Richard says Kofi being the heel could be a fun twist. I feel like might have the ability to be a better heel, but I don't know. Something we've never seen, something we never thought we would see either, if we're being honest. I never thought. I mean, at this point, he's been like a babyface his entire career, except for the couple weeks that the New Day were supposed to be bad.
That's fugazi. That was
yeah.
experimental period.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like outside of that, it's like otherwise, you know, he was Jamaican and he was a good guy for that time. So, and then of course the New Day.
I got a question. What happened to your accent? Aren't you supposed to be Jamaican?
It's so messed up. But anyway, yeah, I think that it could be super interesting, no matter what. So
fans won't boo Kofi.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
will.
but you think they'll actually they would boo the shit out of Xavier Woods? No,
I don't know. I feel like people like them both.
I'm on his side. I'm on his side.
I think fans will boo Kofi, but I don't know. That's why I said it might change because I wouldn't be surprised if the original plan was to have Odyssey and Kofi turn. I wouldn't be surprised because I think it would be easier for people to do that. Maybe it would be easier for fans to boo them as opposed to booing Kofi on his own. This could be a situation where, yeah, people think Kofi is justified, and that's why it's hard for people to boo him. I don't know. But it's also hard, I think, for people to imagine either of these guys being bad guys because for the most part, in their minds, neither of them have ever been bad. So it's kind of hard to envision, like, who would it be and why would they be bad and why should I boo them? Like, there's still a lot of storyline to fill for anyone to make up their mind. You know?
could, okay, this is a long shot of my thought, but do you think this could build until WrestleMania? Like, do you think we could? Because the seeds have been planted, at least in the foundation, to the point where we don't know where we are in this, but we know it's happening. If they could build this up to a WrestleMania match, it has the potential to be a lot better than brother versus brother.
I mean, maybe. I think it just depends on how they go about it. You know, because like Big E technically could get involved if he doesn't get into the ring.
And then he's a special ref. I was going to say special ref. You could do ref.
Yeah, I don't know. So I would have to see because it's like hard. Like it's interesting-ish now, but I don't know if I could say in like 3 months that I would still be like, oh my god, what is happening with Kofi and Xavier? You know,
I think they could. I've been bought in since Karrion Kross entered the chat. There's video proof of that. I have been interested since Karrion Kross.
Yeah, no, that is true.